Welcome back. Today we are here with the third video, and this is going to go ahead talk about Django request and response lifecycle and what exactly happens in the project flow. So to begin with, let's go back to our command prompt. You see the command prompt has the server running. Right now we go back to our browser. In this browser I am hitting the URL and this is popping up. This is happening so automatically. So today through our Django request response URL, we are going to understand what exactly happens. How is this page getting loaded? This is what we are going to understand today. So what we go ahead and do is we are going to understand what happens when the URL is entered by the user. So when the user enters the URL, okay, the request is being sent to the web server. Now inside this web server we have many components. We have seen the file structure and we are aware about the components. Okay, so now we are going to understand in detail how these components are going to get affected. So this is my web server. This could be a Linux web server, Apache, you could have a IIS, you could have a Nix, could be any web server. So what next? The request is going to go through WSGI. The WSGI is going to check whether the request is available and is a valid request. Okay, and how is it going to do that? It is going to do that with the help of certain things. What are these certain things? So the first thing that it is going to pass through is the request middleware. Now request middleware is the component that is very importantly going to deal with your HTTP request object. So what happens is this request is going to go ahead generate a HTTP request object, and that will allow me to navigate through my server. This is very important whenever we are going to deal with any request to our web server. What next? Next we have our URL router. Now what happens is once the HTTP request is generated, it is going to navigate to my URL router. That's nothing but your urls.py. This is going to help me to go ahead and check whether the URL, that is this URL that has been entered, is available in the urls.py. If it is available, then what it is going to do is it is going to go ahead, check for the path, the function name, and call the function name. Okay, then it is going to go ahead return a response middleware, that is nothing but a HTTP response that is sent back to WSGI, from the WSGI back to the browser. So this is the basic life cycle. Now please understand, if I go ahead and enter a wrong URL, let's say let me add home over here. So you see this, it is giving me a page not found error, 404 page not found. Now what happens exactly over here is it is going to check for the WSGI is going to check whether the request is a valid request. The request middleware generates the HTTP response, okay, HTTP request object. Now the HTTP request object is in turn going into the URL router. That URL router is nothing but a table that consists of path, function or a class that is connected to the path, and then it is also having a path name. So that is going to be verified. If all false in place, now over here this is going to generate an error at this situation that will in turn be sent into a response middleware through WSGI. The response will be sent to the user that the page is not found. Alright. So this is one patch of code that we are dealing with. Now what if I am going ahead and creating this home URL? So we will see in the next video how this home can be generated, how we can go ahead, return a HTTP response, a plain text HTTP response from our code, what would be involved in that scenario. We are going to understand that, okay, and we'll see how we can make our website more better. All right guys, till then, thank you, happy coding.